Hey all, J-Town here. Thank you guys for the love you have given to the original holder guide that I wrote literally on the second day of open beta. It's a months and months old video, but it has been getting the hits. So I want to make an updated version for you guys for now, showing all the new little bells and whistles they've added to the game, changes they've made since beta, and I just appreciate each and every one of you. If I could ask you a favor, hit the like and subscribe on this video. Subscribe to the channel. It costs you nothing, no obligations whatsoever. It just helps me. It shows me that you guys are liking the content. I would super appreciate that. If I had half the people who watch my content subscribe to the channel, we'd be on a whole other path. So thank you for that, and let's jump right in. Now, there's been a big buzz around YouTube about who's the best carry, right? And my man Holder here. Right away when I first started this game, he jumped out at me. So we're just going to talk about some of the things that make Holder better than anybody else can Holder, right? Let's put it this way. Imagine Holder is a saw blade, like a circular saw blade, just ready just to tear through some stuff, right? Now imagine that saw blade just absorbed health, just lifesteal like crazy. That's Holder. Holder has 4 skills here, but he only does one thing. He spins around and steals your health. Fast. So just as a recap, let's look at the skills, right? It's a double attacker to a single enemy with a chance to put bleed for 2 turns. It's an AoE 2-hitter with a chance to put bleeds for 2 turns. The passive is beautiful. 24% bonus damage to any target under the bleed status, which all his other skills already applied. And his big boy skill, Arrogant, increases his own attack, gives him counter attack for 3 turns, and he gains a bonus turn after using it. And you get the cooldown to 4 turns, so we're already at 75% of the time being counter attack, right? This is good stuff. Now, if you just got 1 copy of Holder, he's going to do major work for you. But if you can get up to 4 copies of Holder, man. There's an exclusive weapon here. Leech rate up by 30% when he attacks a bleeding target, which he's going to pretty much always be attacking a bleeding target. This is on top of the leech stat you're going to have on the gear when we talk about that. Then if he's attacking a target under bleed, he's going to deal an additional up to 25% if they've got 5 stacks of bleed on him. Well, the hidden shadow is that 24% bonus damage for just attacking a bleeding target. So he's going to potentially be doing 49% extra damage to a bleeding target. That's insane. And then if you get that 4th copy, right, for the EW3, counterattack is now extended by a turn. And if he's got somebody else buffing him with attack up when he does it, he'll get a double attack up. But the biggest part is that counterattack is extended. So now it's a 4-turn cooldown for a 4-turn counterattack. He now has perma counterattack, especially if you build him correctly and you make him mega fast, which is one of the key things you need to do with a good Holder. So you can get those copies of Holder, you get those new skills, then you got to put gear on him. The gear you want to put on him is at least going to have 1 set of leech, right? That stat is so important. There's many options. When you're first starting the game, the only option you have is leech, because you don't have the forged materials yet to make anything, so you want to farm the leech set, right? Once you start getting those forged materials, you can go here and make yourself a couple of sets. Fearless is a good early option. The mastery is so-so because we don't really care about the bleed damage. It'll do something, but it's not our focus. And the other set is the bloodthirsty set. So his attack goes up and his leech goes up, right? You'll just have to, with this set, make sure you get enough crit rate from other sources. Now, some of those sources for that extra crit rate, when you awaken him, at Awakening 1, 3, and 5, you get the ability to wear the artifact gear. The Awakening 1 artifact needs to always be crit rate on the main stat. Now, your Awaken 5 artifact needs to always be speed, main stat. Because the key to making Holder do what Holder does best is he has to be fast so he can outpace any boss he's fighting. He has to be critting heavily and hard. And he's got to be leeching things. If he can do all 3 of those, that is where you hit that penultimate Holder who just wrecks face. That thing you see on YouTube videos, you're just like, yes, that's what I want. Those are the 3 things you got to do. Late in the beta, they added this aura system, which you won't get to until you make it to Hell difficulty. Once you get there, you can fight through a special dungeon, earning some resources to build these auras for your heroes. You can have 3 built, only activate 1 at a time. Obviously, they follow the same rarity as the heroes and the gear, right? It'll take you a while to work up into these top ones. But some early really good options are the range hit aura, even though he's not a ranged. It's effect hit up, so it's more chances for him to land that bleed. Another option would be pristine attack aura. His basic attacks, which a lot of his counter attacks will be, are going to have an increased crit rate, but you should be getting your crit rate from those other sources we talked about. Healing effect's a no-go because healing effect does not affect leech. You could argue for extreme evasion aura, so he doesn't get hit as much by crits, but be able to land the bleed more or do more crit chance is far more valuable. The reason I would not take Brutal Recovery aura is because restoring self HP when inflicting a kill is good for clearing waves, but if you can already tear through waves, you're overpowering it, you don't really necessarily need it that much. And it's going to do nothing for you for those drawn out boss fights, where if he's your first Awaken 5 carry, he's going to have to be soloing a lot of those bosses. This will do absolutely nothing for him during that period. Now, once you reach a little bit higher and you go up, you can get some increased skill crit rate, but we talked about we need crit rate from those other sources. That's where I would get that from. Use this better to somewhere else, like this one right here. When landing a crit, this attack has way more leech. That's his core tenet, right? Holder steals your health fast and by counterattacking. Right? You hit Holder once, Holder hits you 3 times and takes your health. This right here is what you want to go for. Now we're going to skip through these because by the time you get to this point, you'll have read these, you'll know what you're doing. All the way up here at this Bloodthirst aura, man, that's a thing of beauty. There's a few other cool options, right? But once you get up to this high, you'll have to see where your team is. There's a whole world to play with, a lot of theory crafting. The biggest thing you're probably here for is, yeah, but how do I build him with his emblems, aka talents? Well, this is where I like to do a little bit of reading, right? That's how I learn these. Now, anytime you have somebody who is a damage dealer, they're going to take the attack tree. If they also have to land any kind of dot or debuff, they take the support tree. Now, in each of these tiers on the side, you can see at Awakening 1, you'll get these first 2 levels. Awakening 2, Awakening 3, Awakening 4, and finally 5 gets you that bottom mega talent. In each of these things, you can't ever have one full color. See, you have to have at least one of each in each tier. So, for the attack, you always take the crit rate. Over the attack percent, you always take the crit rate. On support for Holder, you always take effect hit. Try to land that bleed. On the second level, 6% extra damage when his HP is full. He's going to be leeching a lot, so unless he gets to fighting things that are just really above him, that's going to be more often than not. Also, if he's clearing waves of things, he's going to start out full health and just boom, 6% higher off the cuff AoE knockdown of all those waves you're trying to clear. Shield Slam is important because there'll be a lot of annoying enemies who will put up a shield, especially in Arena. So this is a great way to tear through that. We're not going to take this like we used to back in the day because of the way they rework talents. This is just a double-edged sword. The other 2 options are better. And over in support, we're taking this one because when he's with a group and he's got a great shielding hero like Liz or Wim, taking less damage when the shield is up is obviously useful. These other 2 do nothing for him because shield effect is only for shield effects that he would put out, right? If he's not the one putting out the shield or giving it the shield to the allies, this does absolutely nothing. We're not taking healing effect because it does not affect leech, right? He doesn't heal himself, he leeches your health. Now in the next tier down, we're taking Arrogant. So before the end of the first turn of each wave, the damage is 9% higher. So on waves that needs to clear of AoE enemies, the first turn, every wave is just 9% more damage. That's huge. Now we're not taking this because while it is great for waves, if he cleared the first wave, then comes into the next wave, can punch harder, that's great. But if he's your carry, he's also going to have to take down the bosses, which are in some of those pivotal moments where past floor 18 to this, well, floor 18 is a boss, and if you can't punch through it, you're not progressing. This is doing you nothing in that scenario where you're fighting just one big beefy target. And we're also not taking this because bleed damage is nothing to write home about. It doesn't compare to the other talents, right? If the bleed was as good as HP burn, you bet your sweet Bippy would be taking this. Now in support, before the end of the first turn of each wave, his effect hit is higher. More effect hit, more chance to land that bleed. That's it. Then he's going to take Selfish, because when he inflicts a layer of buff or debuff successfully, the speed increases up to 5 times. And you're probably saying, hey J-Town, but bleed isn't a debuff, it's a dot. I know this, but in his A4, he increases his own attack by 20%, which is, you guessed it, a buff. And we're not taking pennies from heaven, because he doesn't heal anybody. And if he's your carry soloing things, he's got no allies left on the field, so there you go, useless. Next tier down, when Self has a buff, the damage dealt is 4.5%. He's always going to have counterattack and attack up a lot of the time, so it's a no-brainer. Victory Rush, if he's got other heroes with him that are controlling, which a lot of those good supports can throw out control effects, 9% more damage. It's great. Now, we're taking this for similar reasons we didn't take the Last Stand in the previous, is because we do not care about that dot damage. There's not going to be enough mastery or other stats on us to really give a darn about that bleed damage. And then over here in support, we are taking Magic Touch, because Magic Touch is just a hell of a talent. 12% chance just to reset the cooldown of a skill, right? That's, yeah, we love that. Also, these two other skills are useless for Holder. He doesn't shield anybody, he doesn't heal anybody, and we're not really worried about his turn meter reduction getting taken, because turn meter is not taken into account for counterattack, which a lot of his attacks are going to be counterattacks. So, by far, Magic Touch over anything else there. Next tier down, when attacking targets whose HP is higher than Self, 6% more damage. He's going to be fighting his way through bosses. This is going to happen quite a lot. We definitely want this. And then we're going to take New Lease on Life. When he's attacking targets with less than 50% HP, he deals more damage. So in the second half of fights on their way down, he's going to start hitting them harder. That's great. More damage he deals, more leeching he does. We're not taking Weak Point, again, for the same reason as others. We don't really care about the bleed, and it doesn't really compare to these other talents. For more of HP burning champions, yes, this is amazing. But for Holder, no. And then in support, we're taking More is Better. Because with targets lower speed than himself, he gets more effect hit. I've already told you many times we're making this guy fast. We want speed. We should have a lot of speed. The more speed we have, then better chance we have to having a larger chance of putting on that bleed. See how it all just builds upon each other. And then the obvious speaks for itself choice. In the last row here, the A5, 24% more crit damage, right? Obviously, this may be a consideration for more of an HP burning champion. But this right here, more crit damage. Can't beat that. So here's just an example of why Holder is amazing. He's fighting things that are higher level than him, not too far above. But as he attacks each one, he just gets that health back. Look at that. Counterattacks, delivers major crits. Alright, so here in stage 20, one of the Dwarven Tower bosses. Just see what it is that makes Holder so good. AoE hits like a truck. All those crits. And he basically just keeps himself nice and topped off. Now there are 30 total stages for these dungeons, but to be soloing level 20, nothing to shake a stick at. Imagine this with the power of shielders and healers and supports and other companion DPS with him. See how many turns Holder's getting for each one of the boss's turns? It's at least 2 to 1 due to counterattacks and his speed. That is the key to Holder. Just that saw blade that absorbs health. Now this boss sucks a little bit because it has self-heals on it. And if your holder was slow, there's no way he'd outpace that. So if you've got a holder and you put him in and you're trying to, why can't my holder carry me or solo some things? Well, is he fast enough? Is he leeching enough? Is he critting enough? Ask yourself those three things and then go find out how you can make those things better. That's just fun to watch. I don't care who you are, that's fun to watch. Holder, ladies and gentlemen. That is what makes Holder so good. Now, don't get me wrong, there are a lot of other heroes in the game that can do well at carrying, but the mechanics that Holder has are so unique, it is a thing of beauty to behold. Holder. He's just fun. Alright, y'all. Make sure to like, subscribe down there. Thank you for all the support. It means so much. I'm J-Town, and I will see you in game.
Infinite Magic Raid. Play to slay.